Welcome back to the Pathbreakers, the podcast that brings you stories of leadership and social impact. This podcast is brought to you by the Embassy of the Kingdom of Belgium, the Asbury Club, the Asia Pacific Film Institute, and of course, the Adobo Magazine. I am your host, Rada Musawa, and on this episode, we are joined by a true Renaissance figure, an entrepreneur, a race car driver, a hotelier, a modern farmer, and a DEI advocate. From smoldering engines to aeroponic towers, her life has been driven by passion, purpose, and authenticity. Get ready to hear her story of how she's breaking barriers in every lane. Please welcome Angie Mead King. Angie, thank you so much for making time today.
Nadim, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, and how's everything with you? I've seen a lot of, because I follow you on Instagram and I see a lot of postings and you seem doing a lot of things, a lot of different things. So that's quite interesting.
Always very busy and blessed to be very busy and engaged.
So Angie, can you share to us, especially to our audience, about your upbringing? Who are your role models when you were growing up that really shape who you are now, that really inspired you to drive and do, be bold and daring enough to do a lot of things? Because, a lot of younger people nowadays, especially from different sectors, they would always feel like, okay, I will just focus on one thing because I feel like this is the only thing that I can do. But you've been doing a lot of things. So what molded you to be that kind of person today?
Okay, so the biggest influence in my life was my father. He was both health influence and then business influence. And then I also had sort of like my best friend's parents. I've known them since I was 6 years old. So Peter Wallace and Esty Wallace and my best friend Struan Wallace, they've been a huge influence in my life. My grandfather, the late Angelo King, and my grandmother, the late Belen King. And each of them have, given me different structures, different values in my life. Like my Lola she helped found Haribon, which takes care of the birds in the Philippines. And she was a full nature lover. My dad taught me about business, sports, and balancing life where, it's not always about work. There's family time, there's health. And then my grandfather was very pro-business and always work talk. Every lunch is work talk. Every dinner is work talk. And then the Wallaces were very different. I got life skills from them. The Wallaces taught me, because we grew up in the lake, and if something would break, Peter Wallace would fix it. And we learned how to get our hands dirty, so to speak. And then the mom, Esty Wallace, she taught me social skills, cooking, and then hosting big parties. And that was sort of my upbringing. My mom left when I was 1, so I don't have the female figure, but I had Tita Esty who stepped in and sort of nurtured me also growing up. So each of them have a huge impact in my life. People don't know this about me, but I grew up in nature on the weekends. That's why I love nature. And I just put 2 and 2 together when I was reviewing the questions where some kids are never exposed to nature. That's why they don't care about nature. And I was the complete opposite, because right after school on a Friday afternoon, the car would be packed. We jump in, we go straight to the lake or the beach, we go camping, and then we were trained to, when you leave nature, you leave as if you were never there. So you take everything with you, all the trash, nothing is left, there's no evidence that you were ever there. And that was sort of what set my mindset as a young human to care for the environment, right? Be good to the surroundings because Mother Nature is good to you also.
How was it like to grow up in an entrepreneurial family? Like a family from, mold in business.
Yes. It was very different to the other families, right? Because on the weekends, sometimes I spend time with my best friend's parents. Very different upbringing, because in an entrepreneurial family, Filipino-Chinese business, it was always about work.
Are you Filipino-Chinese?
Yes, I'm Filipino-Chinese. So it was always a question of like, how are you? And then straight to work. And then, growing up, I was so entrepreneurial that in high school, I would carry a big water jug and people want to sip. and I charged them 2 pesos, 5 pesos. And even back then, I was already had an entrepreneurial head on me. But the training started at a young age because we were brought to work as soon as we were walking around, and we would hang out at work, whether it was the office or the hotel. We were brought and exposed, and when my dad would go to work, he would tell the manager, show them what you're doing. So there's exposure, there's always exposure, even down to when I bought my first car. My dad ended up scheduling mechanics to go to the house to teach me after school. So there's always someone in my life
That push you to
who was
do
better
things.
than me. Not push me. I always had the appetite to learn. I had the interest. It was always finding an expert who is better than me to educate me, to I guess give me more knowledge.
Were there any defining moments at school and outside your house that really push you on getting curious about things?
Wow. So I was not academically gifted and inspired, and I did like school. I would always find ways to get out of school, and and I thought, looking back, right? Obviously, school's not a waste of time. It teaches you discipline, networking, and then foundations. But looking back then, I was like always trying to find a way to get out of school because I found I didn't have a lot of friends. I wasn't very sociable. Growing up, sometimes in nature, I was very out of touch with trends. I was out of touch. I didn't watch TV till I was much older. Like, I didn't know certain movies. Like, kids would laugh at me, like, "Huh, you haven't seen this movie?" So it was a weird childhood growing up for me. So school for me didn't leave a huge impact in terms of innovation, but I think being in my family and exposing to the people who gave me my foundations, they were the ones who gave me the ideas that things always change, and change is something to look forward to. For example, Mr. Peter Wallace, he is still, or he was, an economist for the Philippines. He writes columns in the Inquirer. He helps multinational corporations, and every weekend I would see him working, writing, researching, and in between his work, he would do hands-on renovation in his lake house. And every weekend we always come back, we're like, what's new? Like, we look around because he's always constantly changing. And that's something I also picked up from him, where when we're in our lake house, we're always thinking like, oh, that needs to be fixed, or that needs to be fixed. So it's innate that I'm never satisfied with status quo. There's always something going on about my life, whether it's farming, with the cars, or at work. We're always seeing what can we innovate. I have this favorite saying, it's always easy to do what we've done. So let's do something different.
Oh, that's nice.
Diba? And my staff, I go, kaya na natin yan. We know what we're doing. Let's try something new.
Something to get stressed with.
Because if it doesn't work, you can just go back to what we were doing.
That's true as well.
So, right? So sometimes people don't want to take a risk because they don't want to make a mistake, because they don't want to look like a fool. And sometimes it's when we make a mistake, we learn, and we figure out something else, and like, hey, you know what? If we change this, then we can do it better.
Do you think that idea of being open to making mistakes is something that you got from your family?
Yes, definitely. And I read a lot of self-help and business books also. And one of the books I'm reading now, from Robin Sharma, he basically says like, a failure is only a failure if you stop trying. But if you keep trying, the failure is just a stepping stone to success. And then the biggest failure in life is not trying. Right?
That's true.
And it's the regrets that people have na, I should have, or sana ginawa ko, diba? Let's not live there. Let's try and make the mistake and learn from it. We would have what we called summer camp, where we would spend almost a month in the lake. And we were taught basic skills like how to take out the dishes after eating, or helping in the kitchen, or gardening. So there was always things for us to do. And being that my father was a single parent, on summers, if he was busy, he enrolled us in so many summer classes. We did scouts, I did chess school, I did gymnastics, I did taekwondo, I did equestrian, I was swimming varsity, soccer practice, volleyball practice, ping pong practice. I did rock climbing, and then I had windsurfing also. So we were always engaged. There was no time for us to sit at home and watch TV. It was always do something. My dad has this favorite line that even all my friends know.
Yes.
He'll open the door ever so slightly and say, "Get a life."
Oh, that's nice. But so, your dad is one of the key figure that made you really interested about, cars,
Everything.
engines,
Yes. Engine, yes.
and can you share in a way the moment when you start to realize that you wanted to have that as a career, or was there's a specific
Yes.
moment in your life wherein,
I
for
know.
example, kada pa ka lang and you realize like, oh, I wanted to make this as a career.
Actually, it's a super long story. Okay, I'm gonna try to compress it. When I was 15, my grandfather gave me birthday money because I was. It was at that stage where they were teaching us about finances already. I was trained to open my own bank account already, and he gave me money for lunch. And rather than go to the bank, I asked the driver to bring me to a car shop, and I bought my first car. I bought a 1974 Super Beetle Volkswagen, and I drove it home.
From the lunch money?
Okay. No, it wasn't. It was a birthday gift,
Oh,
but
okay.
it was a lunch. But I was supposed to go to the bank, but I didn't. So he gave me 60,000, and I bought a Volkswagen for 40,000.
Pesos.
Yeah, back then, and I was 15 years old. And here's the funny bit, right? So
How young were you then? Sorry. How young were you then?
15.
Wow!
I didn't have a driver's license.
Okay.
I bring the car home, and my dad is fuming, not because I drove a car without a license, but because I bought a lemon. And he was like, I had a Volkswagen when I was younger, you just bought a lemon. He pulls the carpet, and true enough, it's rusted. And that's what got me started into cars. As I said, after school, he would schedule a mechanic, a painter, a denter, an electrician, and a tinsmith to fix the car at home. So 3 p.m. to 6 p.m., it's always after school work on the car. That got me into it. 4 years, we restored the car at home and we finished it. What solidified it was also later that year, I snuck out my dad's car and I crashed it. And it was a bad experience. He basically said, "That's your graduation gift. You should sell it, buy a cheaper car." And me being hard-headed, we're like, "No, I'm going to fix it." So we had this deal because I told you I hated school. After high school, he allowed me to take a break and work for a year. And I went to work for a car shop. My first job was working for someone else in a car shop. And for 1 whole year, I made a deal with them. I'll stay with you. I'll work for you, but I need help to fix my car. So he did that. He fixed the car. The shop name before was Redline Racing. And I was in charge of their motorsports development program, which led me to being on the racetrack. And that's what cemented everything na I like this industry. And after 1 year of being in this industry, I was like, I didn't want to go back to school, but my dad forced me to go back to school. But so influence of liking cars was from my dad, but it snowballed into something else when I had to fix my own accidental car.
Oh.
That's what solidified it. And the other funny part is what got me into motorsports was because I was a bad driver, believe it or not. Maybe because I was being reckless and driving fast without the knowledge of proper how to handle a car, which was led me to get driver training and be a race car driver because I felt like I was such a bad driver. So that's the short story of how that all happened in my life, all accidental in a way.
Did you drove or raced in other country?
Yes, I did 2 years with Ferrari. 1 year was Asia Pacific, and then 1 year was USA. And I've met some amazing people in the series, and it's still one of the most memorable things I've ever done in my motorsports career.
I'm curious though, because we always or some people would always say that car racing are mostly the playground of the elite. What's your thought about it?
Yes, naman, because motorsports is honestly like you have to have uh, spending money to join, right? There's a rule of thumb in racing: the faster you want to go, the more money you have to spend. So yes, that is true, but it's also a great place to meet elite people that you can network with,
That is
that you can, these people have contacts beyond your normal chamber of commerce or board, and it's such an interesting group because what binds you is your passion for motorsports
That's
and
true.
cars. I told you I was a bad driver, and to get good at driving, I started taking autocross classes. Autocross is like slalom, where it's in a parking lot, but you're doing stunts with the car. And that's what started us into drifting. Drifting is the art of dancing the car and making it look out of control, but is in control. And the problem with drifting, it's very stressful on the car. So we would always break the cars. So I had a small pool of mechanics to fix the cars on the weekend. And as the group got bigger and bigger, it would be like, oh, can you check on my road car? You have my race car. Can you check on this? And it got to that stage where we didn't have a name yet. There was no branding. It was a warehouse in FTI where we would just park cars, fix it on the weekday, so on the weekend we could destroy it again. And it got to a stage where we were getting known and people were sending more cars. And then we're like, let's open this into a business. The name Car Porn Racing came from my best friend Struan. So he came up with car porn because we like to dress up the cars to make it look drool-worthy, like orgasmic in that sense. Racing came because we like to dress up the cars to make it look pretty so that we can destroy it on the weekends. So that's why the name became like that. And the business got famous when we brought in the Japanese builder Nakai, who does the RWBs, and that was the association and basis for the company to be like, you know what, I like what this guy's doing globally. I want to use that to mold how my business looks locally. And Nakai had that same outlook where he would take beaten up Porsches, give it a second look, and dress it up and make it look drool-worthy. And till today, we still do RWBs. We're at 22 RWBs already locally, and next year we're building 3 more.
In 2016, there was sort of like an incident or a thing on Facebook where that put you on spotlight.
Yes.
And I think that was the moment I remember that really, in a way, not just shocked the country, but in a way, we're in coming out and finally embracing it publicly.
What's funny about that statement that you just asked me? Where people see strength, I was seeing it as necessity. It wasn't about having courage or being strong. It was about, if I don't do this, I'm not living life. I'm not being honest with myself. And I came out to my friends 2007. I came out to my parents 2009. I had been preparing for this for a long time. And my biggest regret was not doing it sooner. But everyone blossoms into a butterfly at their own pace. And it took me so long to get to that stage of F it. I don't care. These people don't feed me. I know who I am, and this is who I am, and I embraced it. It took me so long to say to myself in the mirror, I'm a trans woman. Just that statement, it was like lying to myself. Like I was always like, no, I'm not. I'm straight. I'm like, no, that's not me. When it got to that stage that like, you know what? Embrace it. And explain to people it's like having two operating systems. It's like I have Windows and I have Mac. And during the day I'm on Windows and at night I'm on Mac. And sometimes it's like who's running what?
That is true as well. Although, were there a sort of like, in a way, defining moment where that really pushed you to finally be brave enough to be out there?
So 2013, I flew to Germany with my dad. And we were supposed to have this amazing vacation, which turned into a nightmare. My dad got super sick. He went straight into ICU on the third day or fourth day. And for the next 4 months, I was in Germany by his bedside. ICU for a month and a half in Frankfurt, and then another ICU for another 2 months in a small town called Bad Vilbel for recovery. And we almost lost him twice. And because of this exposure to how fragile life is, you have to understand my dad was my health goal. He was the epitome of worked out, he biked, he ate healthy, he looked young for his age, and he didn't drink, he didn't smoke. And he was my health goal. And for me to see him and lose him twice almost, it was very like eye-opening of like, Jesus, what am I doing with my life? And that's what made me realize that I need to take this more seriously. I need to figure out my life path from here. And that's when I first told Joey that I'm wanted to come out and transition full time into living this way. And that's what started our like issues with our relationship. And a lot of people think like, oh, you have such a successful relationship. Like, yes, but it was work in progress, and till today it's work to be in a relationship. It is not like everything just works. Both sides of the party, me and Joey, have to work on staying together and discussing things so that we're in line with our goals.
I'm curious though, I mean, was she already aware way back
Yes.
about...
So, okay, 3 months into dating, I told Joey I like women's clothes. So, very early on, I had an inkling. I knew I was attracted to female clothing, female look. I didn't know that it was going to get that far. I knew it was different. I knew I was quirky. I didn't know if I was just eccentric, but Joey helped me step into this whole arena that I had zero experience with.
Aww.
Not having a mom figure, very difficult. And I made it a point to myself after I was dating. I was like, I gotta come clean. I gotta express and ask for help because I have zero knowledge on fashion, makeup, and I needed someone to help me. And Joey was the blessing that I didn't know it was coming in my life.
A lot of members of the LGBTQI plus community find inspiration from what you do, from your life. But of course, not everyone would just be happy and also going to be celebratory about it. Some trans community are saying is that you have not experienced what they have experienced on the ground because you came from a privileged family. Does the struggle of trans women differs or ever had sort of like, what do you call it, like immersed with trans history or something like that?
Yes and no. Yes, I understand. I'm more from a privileged position because I'm the owner of my company and someone in society. So it has its benefits, and I will not know otherwise because I was born this way. I can't begin to understand like what my trans women like Jennifer Laude who got killed and what they went through because of the oppression in the province where there's very little protection. Um, I can't talk about that because that's not my life. I share my life as it unfolds, and I choose to share my life because I see that there are people in my demographic that are very closeted. I always hear stories of other families na, uy, buti ka pa, you're out na, kasi si ganyan, hindi pwede, forever closeted yan. So, it's showing that, not just in, I guess, yeah, the lower or upper brackets, wherever you are, there's people who still have not embraced who they are. And for me, again, it was born out of necessity. I didn't do this for anyone else. It was for me. It was I need to do this because life is short. I don't know. I don't want to be like Caitlyn Jenner who came out at 61. I want to enjoy that part of my youth that I'm, able to without being like when I'm older, it's like, I regret not coming out sooner.
That is, but whatever some people might say, no, pero this past years, you've been very visible in the LGBTQI plus movement.
Yes.
And the how does that advocacy really, in a way, contributed to your leadership style? And what drove you to really, because you already came out, but you still keep on supporting the advocacy. What made you to still go on?
Well, one, in the Philippines, we don't have the SOGI bill.
Yeah.
So once in a while, I chat with Senator Risa, Congresswoman Geraldine Raman, and the other LGBTQIA advocates. And we're always like, how do we ratify this bill? How do we get it through all the male senators who are anti, and it's so difficult. But I choose to be part and active in this community because I have a platform, I have a voice, and I choose to be this voice because for the people who don't get recognized, don't have protection, and don't have a say in society, there needs to be someone like me to point it out like, hey, we don't want special rights, we want equal rights. We just want to be treated like human beings. We're not in the bathroom to make a scene. We just want to use the toilet. I think I'll cause more insecurities for males if I was in the male bathroom. And then same, if there's a trans man in a female bathroom, I think there'll be more issues.
That is true.
Diba?
Yes.
So it's such a weird time that we're in because in the globe now, there's so much polarization, and everyone's always like, you have to be in this camp or you have to be in this camp. And it's like, Jesus Christ, we're all human beings.
A lot of businessmen or people in the industry or in those people who are in public spaces are afraid to come out because they fear that it will hurt their brand.
Yes.
How was it with you? I mean,
that is very interesting because before I came out, I was ready to leave the country and close everything and start fresh in California where it was still okay to be trans. But when I opened my social media account and outpouring awareness and support and like comments were just almost all positive. I won't say naman that it was perfect. We figured out, we're like, hey, like, people don't think we're crazy, and we have support from the netizens, as they call it. And we were like, yeah, maybe it's not that bad. My office, I asked the temperature for my staff, and they're like, oh, mabait naman si Sir Ian, so we support. So office-wise for the hotel, no problem. My car shop staff also, no problem. And I was so amazed because the predecessors before me, like Jake Zarus or Bibi Gandang Hari or even Ice Segura or
People were not nice to them
oh
when
my
they came out.
god, I was using them as my peg. I was shitting myself. Like, this is going to be a shit show, and me and my friends were all ready to, diba? Stronghold and brace. But everyone's like, oh, it's not so bad. So, exactly. And I was so scared that it would affect all my businesses. But being that, in every business that I operated with integrity, honesty, and always take care of my people. So my people in my office who have been with me since I started day one, even when we closed during COVID and I retired all of them, I told them, get a job near your house so you don't need to worry. They waited. They waited 3 months for me to reopen. They came back to work for me at 50% pay cut. And yet,
Oh.
yeah, and they came back. And when things normalized again, I basically increased their salary like 1.8x
Oh.
and gave them every saving that we sort of like mustered up. I rolled it back into helping all my people. So it's been an interesting journey for me, and I think it helped when people saw that, like, even my best friend who's known me since high school, he was like, I can see the smile in your face. It's different. You're genuinely happier now. Like, before, you're happy-go-lucky ako eh. But now when I see you, there's that glow of like, wow, you're really enjoying now. So I couldn't have written a better story, and I'm lucky that for my industries of farming, cars, and the hotel, everything worked out perfectly.
Oh, that's nice.
It's different, diba? From the
Yes.
stuff that we've seen online. It's like the steps to coming out was highly, highly scary. It was always the fear of I'm going to get bashed, ridiculed, and canceled.
Oh.
Pero opposite of
I know,
everything.
opposite of everything.
Diba? I opened my account, it had like 700 followers. Within a few hours, naging 3,000. By the end of the evening, it was 10,000. And then it just kept growing. And we
Yeah.
were just like, what's happening? What did I do right? What did we do right?
But I think a lot of people, not just the LGBT community, including the straight community, has really found fascination on not just you being a transgender woman, but what you do, the things that you engage with,
Yes.
and there's something probably there that is different compared to the other celebrity transgenders who came out. Na parang people likes what you do.
I have trolls, right? And hindi ko inaaway yung trolls ko. I have smart comebacks, but I'm not one to play the put you down game. Diba? I have a troll saying na, oh, suot mo na naman yung bikini ng mom mo. I go, wag ka magselos, may mommy ka rin. Diba? I have bashers also. But rather than make them durog, I make fun of it also. I know who I am. You can call me sir all you want, but I know who I am now at the point in my life na, yes, siguro medyo irritating sa ears, but you're not gonna get under my skin to get a reaction out of me. Because at the end of the day, diba, everyone has their own point of view. If hindi sila minahal ng parents sila, then wala na akong magagawa doon, diba? Ang daming hate. It's like, how do you live with so much hate in your system? It's so toxic.
How young are you?
I'm 46 now. Turning
Oh.
46. I'm 45. I'm turning 46 this year.
You're doing good. I mean, I think we look, in a way, I thought we were the same age.
How old are you?
I'm 37.
Oh, layo pa.
But we look almost the same. So, I mean, you're doing great. So, farming. What made you not transition? Because you're still doing
Yes.
the car thing.
Yeah.
What made you venture into aeroponics. And you know, I think last year I started seeing about your vertical farming thing. How is it?
It is the most fulfilling experience to actually be able to grow your own food and eat it. So, when my father passed away in 2015, I inherited the lake house. The lake house is now where my main farm is. And I was like, this is going to be easy. I ordered 300 fruit trees. I ordered 300 bee colonies. And back then, even till today, bee colony die-off is the worst thing that could happen to Mother Nature. I was like, this is easy. Bought the bees, bought the trees, planted it, thinking like, okay, job well done. Within that year, I was down to 200 colonies. Within the next year, I was down to 50 colonies. And we found out that our soil was unhealthy. I needed to learn how to make good soil. And because we didn't have the proper experts back then, I was looking for a shortcut. What is the most surefire way for me to grow vegetables, to feed my bees, and also make vegetables to supply my hotel so that my business, Hotel Ava, can be called farm to table? Now, it was both a health agenda and also a marketing platform, and also a way to help the hotel source sustainable produce. So those were the motivations back then, which got me into vertical tower farming because surefire way to shortcut and grow vegetables. But even till today, we're known for the vertical farm, but we actually do a lot of soil farming, slow farming. We make our own soil, we compost, we use worms to help break down organic matter. We buy organic matter from other farms to input into our soil. And till today, we're continuing to innovate and reinvest whatever knowledge and income we have to making our farm better, more efficient, giving my farmers an easier time to get into farming. And it's funny because when we first started farming in Caliraya, my dad was farming already a small scale. Igagana yan kasi ginawa na namin yan. So very close-minded, and it takes, knowledge, science, and execution for me to break through and teach them but there's a way, diba? Give me a chance.
When I travel abroad, a lot of people that I know who are farmers are usually has money. And here in the Philippines, it's quite a little bit the opposite. Why do you think is that? That a lot of farmers are now discouraged to go on farming. A lot of issues, I heard that they don't earn much.
Yes, it's a very difficult industry to make money with because you're at the mercy of the weather. And if it's drought, you're screwed. If it's raining too much, you're screwed. If mapest ka, you're screwed. Diba? And if your buyers find a cheaper supplier, you're screwed. So what's different with my industry is I have external buyers, but I've told them, don't give me 100% of your order, because if something happens to me, you're screwed. And if you cancel your order with me, I'm screwed. So give me 30% of your order and we'll both be happy.
Oh, that's nice.
Right? So I only the hotel that I will try to carry the load because I have a direct output. We feed the guests, we feed our staff. All my employees get free meal. So the vegetables we grow on the farm are used also to feed my own employees. And that way, I have a sure buyer for my farm. Anything in excess, we can sell now to the wholesalers who get to sell it to their markets. So a traditional farm doesn't have this sideward integration, diba? Most farmers are not good with social media, they're not good with marketing, they're not good with B2B, where they can go direct to the client and say like, oh, I grow 40 kilos, if you can buy 20 kilos, perfect.
Yes.
So nowadays also, the younger generation see farming as it's not cool, it's not sexy. So they'd rather go to the city and work. But if you ask people in my generation, it's like, what do you want to do when you're older? Oh, I want to buy a plot of land and go farming. And the farming endeavor for me was a retirement project. But during the pandemic, we moved out of the city and moved into the farm, and it fast tracked the whole process of like, syempre, when I get into something, I'm 110%. I read books, I watch documentaries, I call experts. I have a forestry expert on speed dial. We can call the bee community of UP Los Baños. I have a forestry doctor, Namuko. I have a worm expert. Like, there are so many people on tap that we can like, hey, I have this problem. What do we do? So it helped increase my farm knowledge.
I'm curious, when you started the farming or get engaged into agriculture, were you 100% sure that it will work?
No, of course not. Nothing, the thing with farming is it's never 100% sure if you're trying to do it the natural way. If you're doing it the chemical fertilizer way, yes. That's why the vertical towers work, because the water solution is a nutrient solution that you mix with water. And you're just balancing the electrical conductivity and the pH, not very much variables. When you're soil farming, you're balancing everything. So the old principle was you fertilize to feed the plants, which is wrong. We fertilize the soil to feed the soil microbiome. The soil microbiology will break down the organic matter so the plants can uptake the minerals and like other things in the soil.
Ooh.
It's almost how we feed the human body. We think we're feeding ourselves, but actually we're feeding our microbiome. They will convert the proteins down into essential amino acids which our body can use. Same, but different application.
Oh God. This is a new learning. I mean, oh, that's nice. Looking back, what has been the biggest obstacle in your life that you have to go through, and what have you learned from it?
Okay, biggest obstacle was when my father passed away. 2015, he died in a helicopter crash, and it was still till today the biggest struggle internally, externally that I've ever gone through. And because of that, it has made every other problem in my life insignificant. Once the most important person in your life dies, all other problems are nothing. So I try my very best to not stress about everything else, because at the end of the day, it's family that is the most important thing for me at this stage in my life. My relationship with my brother, my sister-in-law, my stepmom, my real mom, my wife, and then my half-siblings, everything, that's what matters to me. Like, every other issue is like, we can solve that. It's just a hump in the road. Like, don't worry about it. We'll get over it.
Whether on business or advocacy or personal growth, what's the next lane for you?
Continuing to be healthier, continuing to grow and develop my farm. We want to be able to provide bee colonies to other farmers. We want to grow more vegetables, and then talking about what to do about my bamboo, what to convert it to. So these are the things in the next coming years for me. For the hotel, we're sort of on autopilot. I always tell my people, like, don't worry about the numbers so much. Let's worry about quality. Because if we focus on quality, then the money will follow. So sometimes everyone's always caught up in what's our target, what's the GDP, what's the inflation rate. It's like, guys, focus on quality, because every time you deliver a quality product, time and time again, it builds brand reputation, and that's when people be like, I want to support this business because I expect this level of quality and I get it every time, right? So don't get caught up in too many complicated things, because sometimes business is simple. It's like vegetables, quality vegetables, and you build a reputation, and that's what we're doing.
Well, that's good, no? Because some business makes money on low quality products that they mass produce.
Yes.
And some people makes money out of good quality products.
Yes.
So you're on the good quality products.
Of course.
So given all the things that you have ventured into, and the things and the moments that you have, go through and conquered, and at the same time, all these people around you and all the endeavors that you have, in a way, champion. When you hear the word Pathbreakers, what comes into mind, and how does that connect to what you have been doing?
Well, I'm very unorthodox, right? So if there's a Y in the road, I will go straight.
Why?
Just because that's how my brain is wired. I look for, even on my chat group, I have there seek discomfort. I will challenge myself every time. It's like working out, right? We work out, we stress ourselves so that by tomorrow we're stronger, we're better. And same with the name Pathbreakers. For me, it's to do something that hasn't been done. It both works on a social media perspective because people like to see things that have never been done, but it also works well on a personal basis because you're able to achieve things that no one else has thought about. And being the family upbringing that I've had, we're never relaxed with our accomplishments. It's always like, what's next? So we didn't get a lot of praise when I would win in a competition because my dad would always be like, yeah, but that's just now. Like, what's next? So it's always looking forward of what else can we achieve. And I have this conversation with Joey all the time where people always say oh, you have so much achievements, but I'm like, why do I feel under accomplished still? I still feel like I have many more milestones to okay, got that down. And I hope in this journey of life that I have enough energy to achieve all these dreams and goals in my head.
Do you think there will be a moment in your life where you would realize that, okay, probably I've done everything, it's time to chill now?
I don't know. I don't think I have. Don't get me wrong, I have moments where I unplug and I'll pull out a book and just read. I have moments where I get off all the social media and then talagang don't talk to me about cars. I just want to be silent. So I understand the value of recharging yourself, your internal bat, so that you can face and plug back into the matrix and do the things that society needs of you. But I think I will forever continue to keep working and being a better boss, a better partner, a better friend, a better farmer, a better race car driver until the day that I expire.
Oh, that's nice. Angie, thank you so much for sharing your incredible carrera in life. From the roar of racing engine to quiet innovation of aeroponic farm, from personal revelation to public advocacy. Your story shows that leadership isn't just one path but many. And to our listeners, remember that no matter where or how you start, you have the power to chart and to race on your own lane. And you are truly a Pathbreakers, and thank you for making time.
Thank you so much, Radim. Thank you so much to everyone who's going to watch this video, and interesting conversation. It's nice to share insights to everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yay!